Within each of us lies an immeasurable force, a potential that often remains dormant. This power is not something found in the external world, nor does it depend on the approval of others. It is exclusively yours, originating from your ability to think, act, and shape your own destiny. The ancient Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus had a profound understanding that true strength comes from internal control. They knew that the world around us can be chaotic, unpredictable, and often cruel. But within us, there is a flame that never goes out, a source of power that, when accessed, allows us to achieve any goal, regardless of the obstacles. Believing in oneself from the Stoic perspective is not a naive act of blind confidence. On the contrary, it is a deliberate and rational choice, a conscious affirmation that as long as you have control over your mind, nothing can stop you. We are not mere puppets in the hands of fate, as many think. We are the captains of our own lives. The storms will come, but with the right guidance, Stoic wisdom, we continue steadfast toward our greatest dreams. Epictetus said, "What troubles men is not events, but the judgments they make about them." This simple truth leads us to reflect, how many times have we stopped believing in ourselves due to a distorted perception based on fear or uncertainty? How many opportunities have been lost because we did not trust our ability to realize them? Today, I invite you to free yourself from those invisible chains that prevent you from moving forward. In this video, we will explore 4 powerful lessons from Stoicism that go beyond mere philosophical advice. They are true tools to transform the way you see yourself. By the end of this video, you will realize that self-confidence is not a passive state, but an active stance, grounded in clear and intentional choices. With this new understanding, you will be able to achieve great feats. To seal this commitment to yourself, leave the phrase, "I believe in my power," in the comments. Write this as an act of reaffirmation, as a first step to solidifying this new mindset. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Each action you take here is a sign that you are committed to your own growth, seeking to live a life aligned with your true potential. Let's go together on this journey of self-transformation and inner strengthening. 1. Understanding internal control. At the core of Stoicism, we find a fundamental distinction that defines the entire philosophy: the difference between what we can control and what is beyond our control. For the Stoics, this is the key that opens the door to true freedom. In the words of Epictetus, there are things that depend on us and things that do not depend on us. When we apply this distinction to daily life, we realize that much of human suffering and frustration arises from the fact that we often try to control what is beyond our reach. Many times, we believe that we need to shape the world around us to achieve success or satisfy our deepest desires. We think that if we can control circumstances, we will finally be in a position to conquer what we long for. However, the Stoics warn us about the error of this perception. The external world, with its whims and unpredictability, is beyond our direct power. What is under our control is something much more subtle, but infinitely more powerful: our own mind. Seneca, in one of his letters, reminds us that the man who lives most is the one who focuses on what depends on him. And what depends on us, if not the way we choose to react to the situations life presents to us. In the face of adversity, we have the power to choose our response. We can lament the circumstances and place ourselves in the role of victims, or we can accept what we cannot change and focus our energy on what we can shape: our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. When it comes to believing in oneself, this distinction becomes even more relevant. Many people lose confidence in themselves because they are focused on what is beyond their control. They seek external validation, depend on the recognition of others, or worry excessively about the outcomes of their actions. However, Stoicism teaches us that true confidence is not a reflection of the external world, but a reflection of our ability to govern ourselves. Imagine for a moment that you have the desire to achieve a great goal, be it personal, professional, or spiritual. Perhaps you want to start a new project, reach an important milestone in your career, or transform some aspect of your personal life. Naturally, this desire will be accompanied by a series of uncertainties. What if you fail? What if others don't approve? What if the circumstances are not in your favor? The Stoics would say that these questions, while natural, are irrelevant when it comes to your ability to realize your desires. Why? Because all these concerns are outside your control. What others think, the final results, the circumstances you cannot foresee, all of this is beyond your power. Focusing on such matters is to waste your energy on things you cannot change. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, offers a clear example of how we should position ourselves in the face of such uncertainties. He compares life to a banquet. At a banquet, there are things you can control, like how you behave, how you present yourself, how you interact with others. But there are many things that are beyond your control: the dishes that are served, the arrangement of the seats, the events around you. Your responsibility then is to make the best of what is at your disposal and accept with serenity that which you cannot influence. This Stoic teaching may seem simple at first glance, but its depth is extraordinary. When we truly internalize the idea that only our actions, thoughts, and attitudes are under our control, something changes within us. We stop worrying about what we cannot alter and begin to direct our attention and energy to what truly matters. Instead of wasting time and effort trying to shape the external world to satisfy our desires, we begin to focus on the improvement of our character, our wisdom, and our resilience. Here, self-confidence is no longer a matter of uncertain hope or empty arrogance. It becomes a grounded confidence, a certainty that, regardless of external circumstances, you can control your actions and thoughts, and that is enough. Seneca said, "He who can control himself is truly free." And that freedom is the foundation of unshakable self-confidence. Now, when applying this concept to the desire to achieve great goals, it is important to recognize that Stoicism does not preach passivity or resignation. On the contrary, the Stoics were men of action who constantly sought personal improvement and the realization of their purposes. What they teach us is that by focusing on what we can control, our mind and our actions, we are able to act with more clarity, effectiveness, and purpose. For example, if you have the desire to start a new venture, Stoicism does not suggest that you simply wait for circumstances to be favorable. On the contrary, it encourages you to take decisive action within the limits of your control. You can prepare, educate yourself, develop skills, set goals, and work diligently. But at the same time, Stoicism also teaches that you should accept with serenity the factors that are beyond your control: the market, the responses of others, the immediate success or not of your initiatives. This attitude of inner confidence combined with external acceptance creates a powerful mindset. You act with the certainty that you are doing everything you can, and at the same time you maintain calm, knowing that the final results are not entirely in your hands. This is the essence of Stoic self-confidence. A confidence that is not based on external guarantees, but on the certainty that, regardless of what happens, you will be able to face circumstances with dignity and resilience. When we begin to live this way, something extraordinary happens. The worries that once tormented us begin to dissipate. Doubt, fear of failure, anxiety about the future, all these emotions lose their power over us. And in their place, a serene confidence arises, a certainty that as long as we can govern ourselves, we are truly invincible. Thus, when we talk about believing in oneself, from the Stoic perspective, we are referring to something much deeper than simply having confidence in our own abilities or talents. We are talking about a confidence that arises from the understanding that you can control your own mind, your actions, and your response to circumstances. This is what the Stoics called living in accordance with nature, living in harmony with what you can control and accepting with serenity what is beyond your power. By internalizing this lesson, you will discover that self-confidence is not something that depends on circumstances, on external recognition, or on immediate results. It is an internal force, always available, that will allow you to face any challenge with courage and wisdom. 2. Cultivating Stoic self-discipline. Self-discipline is the fertile ground where the greatest desires of the human soul bloom. Without it, even the noblest aspirations can be lost in the chaos of inertia and procrastination. The Stoics understood this deeply, and in their teachings, self-discipline was an essential virtue for anyone seeking not only to live meaningfully but also to fully realize their potential. Stoic philosophy values practice over theory. It is not enough to understand what is under our control and what is not. It is necessary to act based on that understanding. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The perfection of character consists in this, living each day as if it were the last, without agitation, without apathy, and without pretense. This phrase encapsulates the spirit of Stoic self-discipline, the pursuit of deliberate and conscious action, free from the distractions and illusions that so often divert us from our greatest desires. But how can we cultivate that self-discipline? How can we, in a world full of distractions, maintain focus on what really matters? The Stoic answer lies in a daily practice of self-control and reflection. Epictetus often referred to life as a kind of training. Just as an athlete trains their body to strengthen it, the Stoics believed that we must train the mind to achieve mastery over our passions, impulses, and desires. For them, the greatest obstacle to fulfilling our desires is not the external world, but our own lack of self-control. It is easy to desire something, be it success, fulfillment, or happiness, but as Epictetus argued, desire alone is not enough. He said, "Do you wish to be invincible? Then do not fight against what cannot be changed, and fight with all your being for what is in your hands." That fight with all your being is what defines self-discipline. It is not an external battle, but an internal battle against distractions, fears, and complacency that naturally arise on the path to success. Self-discipline, then, is not just a practical virtue. It is a daily commitment to action. For the Stoics, every moment is an opportunity to exercise the will. When we face a choice between giving in to distraction or staying focused on our goals, we are training our minds to act in accordance with our values. Over time, this constant practice strengthens our ability to resist the temptations that divert us from what we truly desire. Self-discipline is also closely linked to consistency. For the Stoics, it is not enough to act correctly in isolated moments. It is necessary to maintain a constant standard of virtue over time. Seneca warns us against the emotional ups and downs that often hinder our progress. He says, "Nothing is more unhappy than the constant oscillation between desire and fear. He who is dragged by his emotions cannot stay on course." That consistency is not something that arises spontaneously, but is the result of regular and conscious practice. Every day we face choices that test our self-discipline, getting up early to work on our goals or giving in to laziness, choosing the harder path of virtue or following the easier path of complacency. With each decision, we are shaping the kind of person we will become. This is where Stoic philosophy offers us a powerful perspective. Progress is built from small daily victories. It is not about achieving everything at once, but about conquering each moment, taking each decision with clarity and intention. Seneca reminds us, "Time discovered, well used, is the key to success." That wise use of time, that constant attention to what we are doing, is what defines Stoic self-discipline. For the Stoics, self-discipline is not just a matter of action, but also of reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reveals his daily practice of reviewing his own actions and thoughts. He questioned himself, "Was I faithful to my principles today? Did I act according to my nature?" That self-reflection was an essential tool for maintaining focus on his values and desires. By reviewing their own behavior and thoughts daily, the Stoics believed it was possible to identify patterns of behavior that could be hindering their progress. By recognizing their failures, they could correct their course and further strengthen their self-discipline. That practice of self-reflection is something that any of us can incorporate into our lives. At the end of each day, we can take a moment to consider whether we were faithful to what we set out to do, whether we acted with courage and discipline, or whether we allowed distractions to divert us from our path. It is not about seeking perfection, but progress. Each reflection offers us a new opportunity for growth and inner strengthening. When we think about our greatest desires, it is easy to get carried away by their grandeur and forget that the realization of those desires begins with the simplest and most everyday actions. The Stoics understood that the path to achieving any great goal is composed of small steps, each requiring discipline, consistency, and reflection. If you want to achieve something great, the first step is to cultivate self-discipline. Without it, even the noblest desires dissipate in the face of the first difficulty. But with self-discipline, you not only stay on the right path, but also strengthen your ability to overcome the challenges that will inevitably arise. Believing in oneself, then, is not just a mental act of confidence. It is a daily practice of disciplined action, of control over your own impulses, and of a constant pursuit of progress. When you choose to act virtuously, You are, at every moment, confirming your belief in yourself. And it is that belief, fueled by self-discipline, that will lead you to achieve your greatest desires. 3. Stoic acceptance, turning obstacles into opportunities. Acceptance is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy, but it is often misunderstood. For the Stoics, accepting the circumstances of life does not mean resigning to fate passively or abdicating your desires and aspirations. On the contrary, true acceptance is an act of courage and deep wisdom. It is the understanding that no matter how much we wish to control the course of events, there are forces greater than us, fate, nature, time, that shape life in unpredictable ways. The true strength of a Stoic lies in accepting what cannot be changed and, with that, redirecting their focus to what can be transformed, their own mind, their own attitudes. This acceptance, however, should not be confused with passivity or indifference. The great Stoic thinkers like Seneca and Epictetus understood that obstacles are inevitable, but it is precisely these challenges that offer the greatest opportunity for human growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his writings, stated, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This phrase synthesizes one of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism. Obstacles are not just challenges to be overcome, they are opportunities to refine character and strengthen the will. Stoic acceptance, then, is active and purposeful. It is a conscious choice to embrace reality as it is, without illusions or regrets, and use it as fuel for personal transformation. When we talk about believing in oneself and achieving our greatest desires, this acceptance is an essential tool. Because, in the end, the realization of our dreams is not determined by the absence of difficulties, but by our ability to navigate adversities with a calm and resilient mind. The first barrier many encounter when trying to adopt this Stoic mindset of acceptance is the instinctive desire to control circumstances. We live in a world that values the idea that with enough effort and planning, we can completely master our destiny. However, Stoicism reminds us of a deeper truth. There are aspects of life that, no matter how much we try, are beyond our reach. The forces of nature, the actions of others, social and political circumstances, all these shape our reality in ways we cannot foresee or control. By accepting these forces as part of existence, the Stoic finds a new form of power. They are no longer trapped in the illusion that they can control the uncontrollable, but instead direct their energy toward what is truly within their domain: their mind, their reactions, their decisions. Seneca wrote, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary." This phrase reminds us that much of human suffering does not come directly from circumstances, but from our internal resistance to them. When we resist reality, we create unnecessary conflict within ourselves. It is like fighting against the current of a river. Not only do we fail to change the flow, but we also exhaust our strength in the process. Accepting circumstances, on the other hand, is like learning to navigate the current. Instead of wasting energy resisting the inevitable, the Stoic learns to flow with reality, adjusting to it without losing their inner balance. This acceptance is not a sign of weakness but of inner strength, as it demands deep confidence in oneself and the ability to face whatever comes. One of Stoicism's most revolutionary lessons is the idea that obstacles are, in fact, opportunities in disguise. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often reflected on how life's challenges were not misfortunes to be avoided, but tests that shaped character. He saw each obstacle as an opportunity to practice Stoic virtues: courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. Why is this relevant for those who wish to achieve their greatest dreams? Because any journey toward great achievements will inevitably be marked by difficulties. But from the Stoic perspective, these challenges are not signs of impending failure, but invitations to grow and perfect oneself. When you encounter an obstacle on the path to achieving your desires, the Stoic response is not to give up or lament. Instead, the Stoic asks, "What can this challenge teach me? How can I grow through this experience?" This mindset completely transforms the way we face life's challenges. Failure ceases to be a source of shame or despair and becomes a natural and necessary stage on the path to success. When you accept that the path to personal fulfillment is full of obstacles, you stop seeing them as insurmountable barriers, and start seeing them as tools that can help you develop skills and virtues you might never have discovered otherwise. Epictetus said that it is not things that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them. When you change your perception of obstacles, transforming them from enemies into allies, you open a new dimension of possibilities in your life. Instead of fighting against what is in the way, you learn to use what is in the way to advance. It is important to remember that this acceptance is not a simple mental decision we make once and for all. It requires constant practice. Just as an athlete trains their body, the Stoic trains their mind to accept reality as it is, day by day, moment by moment. A powerful way to practice this is through daily reflection, something Marcus Aurelius did in his famous journal Meditations. He devoted time every day to examining his thoughts, reactions, and attitudes toward the events in his life. He would ask himself, am I reacting according to the circumstances, or am I resisting the inevitable? This kind of constant self-analysis is what allowed him to maintain clarity and peace of mind, even as the most powerful man of his time, ruling an empire that often seemed chaotic and out of control. You can begin to practice this Stoic acceptance in the same way. At the end of each day, reflect on the obstacles you encountered. Ask yourself, how did I react to these difficulties? Did I accept them as part of the path, or did I resist them unproductively? Over time, this practice will strengthen your ability to accept life as it is, without useless resistance, and will allow you to move forward with more serenity and confidence toward your greatest desires. 4. Believe in yourself, the Stoic power of self-confidence. Belief in oneself is often misunderstood as a fleeting sense of optimism or a simple wish for things to work out in your favor. However, for the Stoics, believing in oneself goes far beyond superficial confidence. It is a deep conviction, anchored in reason and the ability to govern one's own mind. Believing in oneself is a practical philosophy of life, an unbreakable force that does not depend on external circumstances, but arises from the understanding of who you are and what you are capable of controlling. When we talk about believing in oneself within Stoicism, we are talking about confidence cultivated by wisdom, self-knowledge, and discipline. For the Stoics, this self-confidence is not something that emerges from nowhere or that depends on the opinions of others. On the contrary, it is forged through the continuous practice of knowing oneself and acting with virtue. It is a confidence that does not waver in the face of failures or difficulties, as it does not depend on immediate results but on a deep understanding of what is under our control and what is not. In Stoic thought, the human being is by nature a rational being. We have the ability to reflect, to analyze our emotions, and to make decisions based on reason. This capacity, when exercised consistently, gives us unshakable confidence. For the Stoics, believing in oneself is believing in your ability to use reason to overcome any obstacle and achieve your desires. That confidence is neither blind nor naive, but arises from the certainty that, by governing your mind and actions, you can face any adversity with serenity and determination. Marcus Aurelius, the great philosopher-emperor, wrote, "The power to accomplish anything is in your hands." This simple but profound statement reflects the heart of Stoic self-confidence. When you believe in yourself, you are not saying that you will never fail or that life will be easy. Instead, you are affirming that no matter what happens, you have the ability to respond virtuously and wisely. That belief is rooted in the understanding that as long as you remain true to your principles and act with integrity, external outcomes are secondary. For many, confidence is seen as an emotion, something you feel when you are about to perform a task. However, for the Stoics, self-confidence is much more a matter of action than emotion. It is not something that simply appears in moments of success or when things are going well. On the contrary, true self-confidence manifests precisely in moments of adversity when life seems out of control. Stoic self-confidence arises from the continuous practice of virtue and discipline. You do not need to feel confident to act confidently. Seneca reminds us that luck favors the prepared mind. This means that even when we do not feel up to a challenge, we can act according to our principles, trusting that the practice of virtue will guide us along the way. And it is this continuous action, based on solid principles, that eventually builds lasting self-confidence. When you act according to your values, regardless of external circumstances, you are strengthening your self-confidence. Each small victory, every time you act with courage, discipline, and wisdom, contributes to the construction of that confidence. Self-confidence, then, is the result of the constant practice of virtuous action, not a fleeting emotional state. One of the biggest obstacles to self-confidence is doubt. All of us at some point question our abilities or feel that we are not good enough to achieve our greatest desires. However, the Stoics teach us that doubt is merely a projection of the mind, an illusion that arises when we lose focus on what we can actually control. When we allow thoughts of inadequacy or failure to dominate our minds, we are handing over our power to things beyond our control, future outcomes, others' opinions, unpredictable circumstances. Stoicism reminds us that these factors do not determine our worth or our capacity for success. What truly matters is how we choose to act in response to them. Believing in yourself, therefore, is a choice. It is the decision not to let doubt or fear rule your life. It is the choice to act according to reason, with the confidence that as long as you are doing the best you can with what is within your control, you are on the right path. Doubt may arise, but as the Stoics teach us, it is just part of the process. True self-confidence is not the absence of doubt, but the ability to keep moving forward despite it. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of resilience in building self-confidence. For them, life is full of inevitable challenges, but it is through these challenges that our true strength is revealed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul is like a fortress. If it resists, no one can conquer it." This resilience, however, is not simply a matter of never giving up. It is the ability to learn from failures, to adapt to circumstances, and to keep acting with virtue, regardless of setbacks. For the Stoics, each obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen character. When we fail, we do not lose self-confidence. Instead, we see failure as a teacher. We learn from our mistakes and emerge stronger and more prepared to face future challenges. Stoic self-confidence, then, is directly linked to the ability to rise after falls. It is born from the understanding that life is not a straight line, but a series of ups and downs. The true Stoic believes in themselves because they understand that as long as their mind is firm and focused on what they can control, no obstacle will be too great to prevent them from continuing on their journey. Believing in yourself, from the Stoic perspective, is a journey of self-discovery, self-discipline, and acceptance. It is trusting in your own ability to act with wisdom and virtue, even in the face of the most adverse circumstances. It is the courage to continue when doubt arises, the resilience to rise after falls, and the certainty that as long as you govern your own mind, nothing can truly defeat you. Just as the great Stoics taught, believe that you have within you the power necessary to achieve any desire. That power does not come from outside, but from within, from your mind, your character, and your actions. By cultivating this Stoic self-confidence, you will become unshakable in the face of life's uncertainties. After all, as Epictetus said, if you wish for progress, be true to reason, and reason always leads us to trust in our ability to govern ourselves. Achieving your greatest desires begins with a simple but powerful truth. You already have everything you need within you. Stoic philosophy reveals to us that true confidence does not come from external factors, but from a deep understanding of our own inner capacity. Believe in yourself, not because the world tells you to, but because you understand that the power to achieve your dreams is in your hands. No matter what happens around you, you can always control your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions. That is all you need to transform your greatest desires into reality. By adopting a Stoic approach to action, you learn to face fear, overcome procrastination, and focus on what really matters. Every conscious action you take, every step taken with intention, strengthens your self-confidence and brings you closer to your goals. The constant practice of this philosophy not only contributes to the realization of your dreams, but also to the development of a solid and enduring self-confidence. If you made it to the end of this video, it shows your commitment to personal growth and the pursuit of self-confidence. I would love to know what you think. Comment below until the end to show your commitment and determination. If you enjoyed the content and found value in this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more advice and philosophies that can transform your life. Your participation is crucial for us to continue bringing inspiring and valuable content. Together, we can achieve great things and realize our greatest desires. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you soon.